Here at Enköping, there's a whole complex of rock carvings. This is one of the most famous ones at the site. People call it a bodice, sometimes people call it a chair, or they used to, but it's been associated with a bodice just because these females have been interpreted as being, or these figures have been interpreted as being female based on the shape of the thighs. Of course, we can't tell what it is or what these figures represent. There's very little we can tell conclusively about Bronze Age and Neolithic rock carvings because there's so little archaeological evidence to prove what they actually were like and what these things meant. But this kind of carving is very unusual. It's also very, very deep because it's been repeatedly carved over many times, possibly in some kind of ritual. Figures are more common, and they're found around southern Scandinavia in this style, and also boats of the style you see there are quite common as well. In fact, here in this complex, in Uppland there are over 2,000 boat carvings, and at this complex alone there are 5 different types of boats that are depicted, approximately. And here's the most common form of rock carving of all. It's called a cup mark, and this is actually found across Western Atlantic, Europe, Ireland, Spain, France, also along the Mediterranean, and up here in Scandinavia. And it predates the Bronze Age cultures which we associate these boat carvings with in Scandinavia, the Nordic Bronze Age. Obviously it's from the old farming European culture of the Neolithic, and that means this one could have been here prior to the Bronze Age cultures that did the rest of the things, and that they chose to do their stuff around it, or that the Bronze Age culture adopted this and used the same symbols, perhaps in a totally different meaning. No one knows what these mean either, but there was a theory which hasn't been properly investigated, that the cut marks represent, the distance between cut marks was representing some form of measure, and it's been called the megalithic inch. And if that was the case, then one presumes that the Bronze Age peoples maybe had a different form of measurement, and they wouldn't have wanted to use it in the same context, but we can't know for sure. But here's a boat between the two, some form of a boat with a very long prow, curving with the keel, and it breaks up the distance between these two. Impossible to say conclusively, but compelling and enigmatic. These shoe sole outlines are another common form of rock art from the Scandinavian Bronze Age. There are over 300 shoe soles of these sorts in Uppland alone. Some are just outlines of feet and others are hammered out entirely. They come in all sizes, but most are a little bit smaller than our feet today. This is one of the most impressive, or probably the most impressive, Bronze Age carving of a boat. And it's unique because it has, or for many reasons. The figures are, rather than just in simple line strokes as they are in many other examples, they're clearly human figures. You can see their clothes, their cloaks, and we can see that they're not using oars, they're using paddles. They may even be standing. The boat itself has like a Viking style, Viking boat prow with an animal head on it. Could be an elk, could be a horse, could be a dragon. And this quite distinctive curling as well, going up from the keel. And at the bottom of the keel is another figure resting the keel on his shoulder. Why? Maybe this is an example showing people how to lift a boat. It would be a very profane explanation. Alternatively, perhaps this is a scene from their mythology, and this chap is some kind of god who's either aiding the progress of the boat or inhibiting it. Maybe he's a river god who they forgot to placate and he's trying to stop them from going. We can't know. Another enigmatic and mysterious carving. It's over 4 meters long. It's very big. No boat from the Bronze Age has ever been found, so we can't say how accurate this is, whether the boat was made with animal skin or whether it was clinker built like later Viking Age boats. All impossible to say, but I'd say that this, because it's Bronze Age, we can probably safely say that these are Indo-European people, the Nordic Bronze Age, speaking Proto-Germanic, and that they were carrying on the rock carving tradition that existed in all of Europe from the Neolithic farmers, although this one has none of the distinctive cut marks as far as I can see, whereas many of the other boats do have cut marks either inside the boat, above it, or positioned in random patterns around it, or seemingly random anyway.
This figure is clearly a man. The appendage behind him is a holstered weapon, and the one in front is an erect penis. His arms are raised as though in prayer. There are 200 figures of humans in Uppland alone, and many others of men depicted like this all around southern Scandinavia, such as these in Tanum, and they reinforce the argument that this represents some kind of masculine ritual. Another common carving is the sunwheel, in many variations. Even here the shape varies, and so does the number of spokes. It is widely recognized as an ancient Indo-European symbol of the sun on her journey through the sky. Thank you for watching. As always, please like and subscribe, and if you're a real Indo-European, then become a patron or send me some money on PayPal. Cheers.